Welcome
he needs
to...
a shot of tequila.
He needs a shot of tequila. The episode just started just there.
No, it didn't.
Welcome to episode 6 of the Artechoke Not a Show. We have a whole thing of Jose Cuervo in there from our wedding still.
Watch these things?
Yeah, I don't know. No, it's just us.
Yeah, so go get a shot of tequila.
So thanks for joining the Artechoke Not a Show. We talk about jiu-jitsu news, culture, theory, and technique, and then we make fun of Nick and Mike a little bit sometimes, and then I get made fun of too. Mostly me, I feel like, is what happens. I spill my drinks most of the time. But thank you for joining us.
Slacking, actually.
The last couple episodes have done a pretty good job. I have this one sitting next to me now, so it's probably going to be a mistake.
Can I be like a cat?
Just knock it over. Just knock it over. So on today's episode, I figured we'd start out with a what are you working on? Technique-wise, or I guess even in your personal life. You want to start, Nick?
Sure.
What are you working on?
Jiu-jitsu. Okay,
on the mat.
I always gotta hear this. Passing. I'm working on not being so predictable and sort of learning when people are giving me different reads to take different routes, as opposed to just always doing techniques, because the techniques I like, actually like receiving feedback from whoever I'm rolling with, like they start to push back to go the other way. You know what I mean?
Just trying to react more to what they're giving you?
Right, as opposed to just...
So what kind of passes do you feel like you force too much?
Just going to the left.
Just going to the left? Is that it? You're like Derek Zoolander. Like you can only turn one direction.
He's a NASCAR driver. He only turns left.
But no, like I'll be clearly stuck.
You could probably sell
and
a
I'll
book
know
on
I'm
that.
stuck.
Drive hard, turn left.
The NASCAR guard pass. The NASCAR guard pass. just keep turning left. That should not be as funny as it is.
It's getting late.
It is getting late. It is getting late.
But yeah, like I'll just like clearly be stuck and not moving in that direction, but
you'll continue
I'm
to
not
turn
smart
left.
enough to keep going.
So how what's your process for correcting that? Like, how do you are you drilling anything specific? Or you just trying to think more about
just paying attention. Like I said, just feeling you're stuck. Go the other way because it's not worth trying to fight through the muddy waters.
Cool.
Go to where it's open.
Muddy waters.
Don't be scared all your life.
Yeah, don't be scared, homie.
Yeah, I don't really like you guys.
Mike, what are you working on?
Lapel stuff.
Your shoulder.
I've still been, in my collarbone, trying to stay attached to my body, and I'm still trying to tie people down as much as I can with lapels until they start doing no-gi.
So let's talk about the excuse me. I apparently cannot handle a 5% alcohol cider.
You wash it down with real beer.
That would kill me. That would absolutely murder me. So let's talk about the lapel grip you've been playing with. You've been doing it out of half guard a lot?
Yes.
And even out of full guard a little bit, right?
Half guard, and even full mount.
Even full mount. So let's describe what you're doing here.
I just pass the opposite lapel to the opposite side of the body, and then I go deep underhook and hand it off.
Okay. So how does it feel when that happens?
He's almost broken all my ribs.
Yeah. So it's not just pulling it behind the back. You're like wrapping it around once and then grabbing it, right?
You let it kind of hang out right on the floating rib, so everything's miserable.
It's pretty much a compression choke.
Yeah.
You can wrap it up.
Well, I do have a compression choke out of it now too. Like that is, I've been working on it. I have it set up completely.
So when you say
it's basically a bow and arrow choke, but
Yeah.
I'm cutting you in half.
Yes, it's like being in a body triangle, pretty much.
You felt it.
You know what I mean?
Before,
like if you're locked up in a body triangle and somebody really wants... That's pretty much what it's like.
Poor Nick. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I could
I have it down.
Expand my midsection or something.
Yeah, it's down to it's a submission now. I know it.
So we may need to actually record a little video of this happening now at this point.
down.
Now that we talk about it,
Yeah.
into some kind of
I got some
freaky
weird
deaky.
shit going on.
Yeah, talking to your mic.
Oh yeah, that's here. It's in front of me.
It's
That's your job.
Nick's job to fix it.
Yeah, just up me.
So what made you start playing with that weird... So just to fill you, the listener, the viewer in on Mike in general. So Mike approaches rolling kind of like a skateboarder approaches skateboarding. Do you think this is fair? Where it's like oh, wouldn't it be cool if I did that? And that's kind of where stuff starts.
There's absolutely no better way to put it.
Yeah.
Whenever you told me that one time, I think you said that Riley.
I stole that from Riley Body because he's like, I just want to do cool stuff.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. I did ride BMX for way too long. It's basically I have something in my head. I'm like, yeah, I want to hit this. You know, I want to session this stair set today
because it feels cool.
Yeah, it just works for you. You know, I want to hit this. I want to session this.
So with that mindset in mind, how'd you start playing with that lapel grip? Where'd that come from?
Me and you were playing a lot with worm guard at the time, I think, and it just kind of. I was doing a lot of De La Riva lapel passing, and it just kind of happened one day, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is kind of weird." And Brad, one of our black belt instructors, he had shown a sweep a very long time ago. It was based on a knee cut pass, and when the knee cut pass happened, you kind of scoop the leg, and you scissor the legs and belly down. And I kind of took that concept and took that approach to a completely different grip. So I had passed this lapel, and I'd felt people passing, and I kind of was like, well, wait a second, this is a weird. And I swept somebody with it, and you I think it was me and you that were working out.
Rolling.
Yeah, we were rolling. I swept somebody, and I instantly grabbed somebody bigger, and I was like, "Come here."
I feel like that was a Sunday open mat.
It was weird.
Yeah, I think I was doing a private lesson. I looked up, and you were like cycling through.
Yeah, I was just picking bigger people at a time.
Come here.
Yeah, come here. And it just happened that it just started to work, and then I was like, "Whoa!" Then I just kept doing it, and after I kept doing it, I kept building on it. And now I have a good bit of submissions and weird compression shit.
So you get a submission off the lapel being around the body?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a miserable... It's basically a bow and arrow choke.
That sounds
except
terrible.
You just pass... You basically bow and arrow choke with all the...
Yeah, maybe we should not roll for a while.
I'm telling you, it's not bad.
I got a message one day of like, I think Mike almost killed Nick when they were rolling.
The noise I made was pretty terrible.
The noise you made was...
Can you reenact it for us? That's
you
terrible.
yelled tap really loud and really quickly, and everybody like kind of looked at us, and I was like... Yeah, I'm him again.
Like you're abusing your girlfriend in a restaurant.
Yep.
Everybody stops and just looks back.
Well, it gets awkward because Mike's like way bigger than me, and I'm just this little guy, and it just gets serious. Well, every day everybody's pretty used to like Mike beating me up, and then when there's like screams coming out of it, people are like, "God, we don't want to roll with him anymore."
Yeah, I guess that happens occasionally.
So, how much deeper do you think that rabbit hole is going to go on that grip?
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah,
it really doesn't need to go much deeper than it already has, though, because I've got a good little arsenal out of it from what I've made up so far. I'm sure there's somebody doing it somewhere.
I mean, that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about today.
I hope they are, so I can steal more shit.
Steal everything they've been doing.
Yeah. I hope somebody's been doing all the groundwork for me.
So you can just come in and just pick it up.
Woo, this is what I've been doing.
I like it. Yeah, we talked about that last episode, the internet, right?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Very cool, very cool.
If not, hopefully I can put it out there and people see it and we'll build that rabbit hole. Yeah,
report back, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been working on something a whole lot less interesting. I've just been working on arm bars. Just kind of circling back to...
You're no fun.
So, my jiu-jitsu, it's like, I have the exact opposite approach. So, like, Mike's like, I want to do cool tricks on my skateboard. And I'm like, I'm going to walk really slowly down these stairs.
And I feel like I'm the third one, depending which one of you I'm the closest to. It's what kind of mood I'm in today.
Which one of us has been in his ear enough that week?
Yeah, right. We're always just like, you're like devil and angel. Yeah. Nick, you need to do this.
No, you're not upside down. That doesn't work.
40 have you trained this week? It's not enough.
Yeah, you're 40 training. Oh man, yeah. My jiu-jitsu game is just like super conservative, really slow. I always feel really uninteresting when we talk about what you guys are working on.
I'm all high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I want to take as few risks as possible. I'm like the guy driving a minivan in jiu-jitsu, I guess. I'm just like, this is safe. It gets good gas mileage. It's good safety
It's
rating.
reliable.
It's got DVDs in the back for the kids. right. Extra cup holders.
Yeah, the back, it folds out into a picnic table.
OnStar support, so whoever lost, we can just get help. That's kind of my jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So I'm working on arm bars, just like trying to find them everywhere I can. But I have been doing this arm bar out of a cross collar choke from like your passing guard. So you have like the cross collar grip in, they turn towards you, you drop it on really tight. I've been fishing that bottom arm into an underhook from there. It's been pretty big money for me. Other than that, it's just like super basic arm bar setups. But it's been good for me because that's what we've been teaching down at our south location. It's just been just like on my mind anyways. I kind of use my classes to drill my stuff.
With arm bars the other day.
Yeah, then you're like, I got a half hour of sleep last night. And I was like, okay, well.
You still beat my ass. Doesn't matter.
So you say that, but meanwhile, I come home and Karis looks at my body and she's my wife, and she's like, did you roll with Mike today? she knows what your handprint is based on the bruises. It's more like my neck's twisted in half. Yeah, right.
Somewhere.
Oh, man. So, moving on. So speaking of people having stuff on the internet already, Kit Dale posted this photo the other day of some old school judo photos with De La Riva. So saying that the caption is, so did Master De La Riva really come up with this position named after him, or was it taken from judo? So the implication here is that they're suggesting that De La Riva was not the inventor of this position, therefore should not get the credit of it.
I'm sure there was somebody at some point that put their foot in between someone's leg.
Right. So just because like somebody did that hook at one point, in my opinion, doesn't make what De La Riva did any less innovative.
Absolutely.
Right? And people do the same thing to Eddie Bravo, where like Eddie Bravo didn't invent the lockdown. He never claimed to invent the lockdown, because there's old school judo books of them doing that same kind of leg lace. What Eddie did do was build a system around it and like refine it, right?
And I want to, in Eddie Bravo, if you show him something that is stemmed from what he has done, because I've trained at headquarters, if you have something that he hasn't seen, he will suck that into his system as soon as he wants to know. Like Ben Saunders, Kill a B guard. He was doing stuff in Bellator where he is like, he's kind of like, he beat the shit out of a black belt with his guard type, which is based off an Eddie Bravo system. You know, he was big into 10th Planet. He set it up and he demoralized the black belt with that position. And so Eddie, when I was there, I had some questions, some weird little things, like, hey, check it, like, what is this? Why didn't you do this? Why did you take this out of your system? You know, just normal questions, and how open he is to the fact of like, if you have something new, I want to see it.
Yeah,
and, you know, and that's
even in his books, he's always giving credit to the people that he borrowed stuff from, and
who he saw,
even his students that started playing with stuff.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Nick, on this debate, De La Riva or Eddie?
I don't know. So,
is it worth getting bent out of shape over something like this, where De La Riva's getting credit for a position that some random judo guy used in the 1920s?
I don't think so, because I think there's just, especially today, there's so much out there that, like, not to say that I created anything, but, like, I'll see myself doing a sweep that I feel like nobody's ever done before, and then the next week I see it on the internet by Jeff Glover. Just, you son of a bitch. That was mine. And then I get my own head. I'm like, did I see somebody do that? Or did I just start doing that?
Well, I hope that I find somebody that's doing that weird lapel pass, because I want to steal everything that you know already.
Well, even the other day, one of our blue belts, we call him Raider, he was playing with a toe hold out of lockdown, out of like the electric chair.
Oh, you like that one?
And well, yeah, and I was like, oh, well, try doing it this way. He's like, oh, I thought I invented that. And I was like, well, I thought I invented it too, because we had a good laugh about it. But I mean, it's just, there's so many people covering the same terrain. And it was as weird as there as many different ways as there are to entangle somebody and grab somebody, it's not completely infinite, right? Like, it's not surprising that someone may have done the same thing at one point.
And you're not going to hear about it if that person didn't have the exposure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You almost need to put it out there so the people that are doing the things that you're doing can come back to you and be like, hey, well, this is what I'm doing. And then now you have your own little group of people that you can bounce ideas off of. You can... That's what it really comes down to, is like, if you're doing something and nobody else is doing it, and maybe in your gym, put it out there. Let other people see it, and somebody else can be like, oh, dude, I'm doing that same shit. Like, check this out.
Or check out this Japanese kid that you never would have heard of that's been playing with it for 3 years.
And then all of you can put all of your knowledge of everything in together, and now you have a new position. Now you have your new daily Hluhan. You have your new whatever. And that's what I think it should be.
Mantis
guard.
Mantis, whatever.
Well, how do you feel about him getting credit for the position? How do you feel about that?
I like him. Give it to him.
Well, so
he's a sweet man.
Well, so I think so. Just because somebody did that position before, I think De La Riva very much pioneered the system. Yeah, pioneered the system aspect of it, and I think there's more merit to that than just discovering the first hook.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, cool, you hook the back of the knee with your foot. What'd you do next? You know, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about someone that used it to such a degree that he became the namesake for it. Like, that's crazy.
Just think about De La Riva, what it started as. You know, I'm sitting on a foot with an ankle grip.
Mm-hmm.
Just that position alone, how many different positions are exactly that many people call De La Riva.
Yeah.
You know, it's endless, really.
Yeah, it's such a strange rabbit hole. It's always weird to, like, start teaching open guard, even, like, to new students, and you're like, well, here's a De La Riva hook. We're not going to go into that neighborhood for a while because it gets weird really fast. So just trust me. We'll work on this later. But, I mean, yeah, he's done so much stuff, and he's been pretty cool about the evolutions of De La Riva guard that have gone beyond him. Like, when Baron Bolo's hit pretty hard, he was pretty cool about it. He was like, I mean, I don't even know how old he is now. He's getting up there. He was like, I mean, I won't do it, but
that's the next step.
It's cool stuff.
It works.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty open about it, and that's pretty impressive stuff. I mean, it's strange that people get so wrapped up in...
Wouldn't you be excited that people are using your stuff?
Yeah, like, so if you're this old school judo guy and somebody is still using your hook, I mean, some of these photos, like that photo looks like it's from the 30s or 40s or something.
And you wonder where, like, we're looking at photos. We wonder where does that photo lead from there?
Yeah,
yeah. You know, that's a big thing. Is like, yeah, they have a hook, but somebody could have taken a picture of a hook, and there's not much that's ever led from that. You know,
and that's what most of those old school judo books are. It's so old instructionals in general, and even jiu-jitsu instructionals up through, because I've just been a geek about this stuff, up through like the mid-2000s, they were just a hodgepodge of like, look at this cool move. There wasn't really a whole lot of like refinement.
There was no technique, right? Or, excuse me, system.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is the sweet move, this is a sweet move.
Yeah, it was like a highlight reel stuff because nobody thought about making like a cohesive instructional from beginning to end. That's, you know, the sport's evolved from there, and you know, Victory Belt did a lot to make that happen. Like the Eddie Bravo books, for example, circle back to him. Yeah, most of these books were like, check out this crazy move.
Yeah.
And people were like, that guy's got crazy moves, and that was all that ever happened. It was kind of a shame on that front. So, yeah, I think De La Riva deserves that credit. We'll move on to our next story here. Stay awake, Nick.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, it was a long day for you. So before we go on to our next story, shout out to our sponsors. Inverted Gear sponsors the show, sponsors Nick. So thank you to Inverted Gear. Check out their products. They make really great gis, really good rash guards, and they're run by really awesome people. Nelson and Hillary are doing seminars. Nick was just at one with Groundswell, so keep an eye out, especially if you're on the East Coast, for a Nelson or Hillary seminar. They do really awesome stuff. Anything you want to say about Inverted Gear while we're on the topic?
Super good instructors. Hillary and Nelson are just super great people. Support them, support their products, and if you get a chance to roll with them or whatever, definitely take that opportunity.
Yeah. Nelson and Hillary were in town. Are you okay? This is the most important part of the show. We're thanking our sponsors, and you're going to die.
I'm going to die.
You're going to die.
Sponsors.
man. And we also want to thank Jiu-Jitsu Magazine. Are you okay?
I'm great.
Okay. We also want to thank
super.
Jiu-Jitsu Magazine for sponsoring the show. If you haven't checked out Jiu-Jitsu Magazine, head to your local bookstore. Chances are it's there. Pick up a subscription. Pick up a couple issues. Really great content. Really great business minds behind it. So they're doing some pretty cool stuff for the sport behind the scenes. So support Jiu-Jitsu Magazine. Follow them on Facebook. Check out their stuff. And that's it for our sponsors. So let's move on to our next story here. So you guys turned me on to this, and I figured we should probably talk about it. Wait, my wife is laughing at me because I said "turn me on."
So immature.
So yes, this is what jiu-jitsu shows become. So I'm going to start this video for your reference, Nick, at about 23 seconds.
Okay.
So this is Mikey Musumeci and Jiao Miao. So you want to set this up, Nick? You want to talk about this match?
So what's super cool about it is Mikey is a super young kid. I believe he just turned 19, literally like 3 weeks ago. He got his black belt whenever he won the brown belt worlds, and he was still only 18, so technically, according to the IBJJF, he wasn't allowed to have one. So he posted like on his Facebook like, haha, I'm legal age now, I can have my black belt. So he's Tammy Musumeki's little brother. Super fun to watch. I know he's trained a lot with the Mendez brothers, and as you can see,
I couldn't tell.
He knows obviously the Berimbolo really well.
Look at that.
So
Leg isolation there too.
He's
That's
pretty
beautiful.
insane. This was actually his second match at black belt. His first match was earlier in the day, and the second one he actually takes a decision over Miao
That's pretty intense.
at 19.
That's pretty intense.
What
So
was the score?
he said decision.
Yeah, it was decision. I think he maybe 2 points and like 5 advantages or something, or it might have just been 5 advantages he beat him by. I can't remember
That's
exactly.
impressive. Either way, no matter what he did,
Just
that's
to
impressive.
hang
Yeah.
with meows, right?
Let alone beat him.
Well, it was really funny just throughout the year. Like I followed him a lot, but he was supposed to go to the World Pro or whatever for ADCC. How they have that tournament, and it was funny. He was posting on his Facebook how he was bummed out that he couldn't miss any more high school, and his parents like wouldn't let him go, or his school wouldn't let him go because they were like, "Sorry, kid, you're not going to pass."
Meanwhile,
And everybody on the internet was
everybody
like,
in the sport's geeking out.
"They're like,
Yeah,
no,
it's
you
like-
don't understand. You got to tell him what a big deal this is."
He's sitting one of the best dudes in his division down.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Well, I guess I'll just go again next year."
This is
He's got
pretty
a couple
crazy.
years to get ahead of him.
Yeah. So, what does this say for the evolution of the sport when a 19-year-old kid comes in and topples probably one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the sport right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, like, it was a decision. Like, that's close, but
It don't matter.
there's a
if
lot
you
of
beat him.
guys that can't even last a match. You know, like, really tough guys. Really, really crazy tough guys. That's crazy to me.
I told you he was a blue belt 3 years ago. He posted 3 years ago he was a blue belt and probably juvenile.
Right?
I mean, and he's attacking too. It's not like he's just hanging out.
Yeah, this isn't survival by any stretch of the imagination. He's got Meow running here. He's hanging onto an ankle lock right now that looks pretgi legit. So you think there was any Meow's butt crack hanging out? Is he the Brazilian gi pants so they don't wear underwear underneath of it? Think that's happening?
Purpose.
Anyways, that's illegal according to the rule book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyways, do you think Meow underestimated him maybe going in?
I don't think he underestimated. I just think Mikey's that good.
Yeah.
That's where I'd put it. He trains with legit people. He's in Florida. I think he near Boca Raton or whatever. But I know he also trains with that AJ Souza down there too. They sort of hop between gyms, I think, is what they do.
Seems like a lot of the guys now, they're really top level, they have like 3 or 4 places they cycle through to get like the right training partners and the right instruction
Right.
to make that happen.
Not to mention his sister's one of the best
Yeah.
best females in the world.
Yeah,
so.
she's tough. She's really tough.
That change of scenery makes you very versatile too. You
Yeah.
see a little bit of different influx of moves that you may not see in another gym or.
Well, it seems like the teams anymore are...
I mean, he's just holding on to that leg, just denying everything that he's doing.
This is, that's a...
I mean, I'd say he controlled the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's negated everything that he's... That's crazy to watch.
Yeah, Meow
It's the
Brothers
first time I've actually seen this. It's
yeah, I haven't seen this match either.
Second
Very
match
impressive.
at black belt.
Really? Second.
The first one was earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So you think about that, and this is a little close to MMA math. Like, it's kind of dangerous to do, but Kron had a really hard time transitioning to black belt,
Yeah.
right? Like, he had a rough first couple black belt matches.
Really?
Then you see a kid like this pop up.
What's going on with Kron now? Is him, like, I know
He's looking to do more MMA now, I
Yeah.
think, which is strange to me, because Hickson just came out. Just came out and talked a lot about how MMA is too barbaric and
showing like young kids like weird.
the wrong
Yeah.
life path or
Do you
whatever.
think he's trying to get out to save his name, sorta, in that sense? Like, not that he's not always amazing, but it's pretty clear the next people coming are going to be better than this.
Kron or Hickson, you mean?
Kron.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of the Gracie hubris, right? I mean, we've seen a lot recently of just really weird opinions coming out of like the Gracie Torrance Academy in terms of like self-defense versus sport and jiu-jitsu and MMA and stuff.
Right.
And it's really strange,
Yeah, it's weird.
like a kind of the 50-50 / ankle lock thing
Nobody's
going
really
on.
everybody's just kind of looking around.
Just
Yeah.
wait till he starts trying to drag him out of bounds.
Oh, really?
That's a classic meow move.
Oh, jeez.
Gotta drag him out.
Yeah, I mean, so the Gracie family's had a lot of trouble in MMA recently, right? And was it Holes Gracie that just tried to do an MMA fight in the UK or something against like the strongest man?
I didn't see.
Yeah, he definitely just did something recently. But then you can look at Hodger, and Hodger just beat James McSweeney in a stand-up fight.
Yeah, but he had a rough time in the UFC before that, though.
Yeah, but he beat James McSweeney in a stand-up fight.
True
too.
that. That's
James
true.
McSweeney's not. I mean, he's
legit.
He isn't anybody to sleep on. It. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Well,
it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think recently the Gracie family at large, not saying every Gracie everywhere. You're laughing at my cat again. Nick absolutely loves cats. It seems recently, and again, just speaking very broadly, has had a lot of trouble with accepting the next evolution of the sport. Because at this point, everybody trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Speaking in MMA context, everybody trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in MMA. So we're seeing a lot of guys winning matches because they have enough understanding to negate the jiu-jitsu game. Like there's no big surprise. Like when Hoist pulled guard, nobody knew not to put their arm between his legs
Yeah.
and get triangle choked. I mean,
Way
it just
different
was
from UFC 1 compared to UFC 189.
Yeah, and I think what Hoist did and what Hickson did and what the rest of the Gracie family did at that time was really critical. I mean, it was super important to the sport, but everybody said, yes, we need to learn that. So now they know that, and they know wrestling, and they know boxing, and a lot of the Gracie family that goes into fight still comes in with high-level jiu-jitsu, but mediocre wrestling and mediocre boxing. It's just tough to compete.
Not good enough.
Yeah, the sport's evolved, and they've helped it evolve. And on the sport jiu-jitsu end, there's a little bit of the frustration with the evolution of the sport jiu-jitsu too, which I can empathize with to a degree, but it's a sport. Like even now we're watching this nonstop leg spaghetti berimbolo ankle lock battle. Like, yeah, this is not self-defense jiu-jitsu, but this is not a self-defense situation.
No.
Right? I mean, this is sport. This is super highly technical. This is a really intelligent game that they're playing.
There's somebody else on the other end that knows what they're doing. And that's where the big like self-defense and not self-defense comes in is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The person that you're going against in a self-defense scenario most likely shouldn't know what you know.
Yeah.
It's
like
kind of like that barroom brawler, almost.
the chances
weekend
of them
warrior.
making a mistake
Yeah.
is so much higher, and it happens so much more quickly. Right?
Whereas you have two high-level, like competitive men competing against each other, where it's they've
crazy
been in those
athletes.
deep waters, and they've seen everything that you're throwing at them. They've seen already,
Mm-hmm.
or I'd hope so.
Yeah, it's a different kind of battle, and I think any one of these guys would do just fine in a self-defense situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
put one person.
I mean, I would definitely berimbolo somebody.
I would love to see a berimbolo in a bar fight. Like, it seems really unfair to just say, "Oh, that's not jiu-jitsu," with the sports stuff, just because you're not good at it, or you didn't invent it, or it's weird and new, right? To circle back to the De La Riva conversation we were having, there was a time when De La Riva, people were like, "Oh, that's not jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, that's too weird," and now it's standard curriculum, right? So, to circle back to where the conversation started, it's sport jiu-jitsu, deal with it. I think eventually this weird stuff will level out for a little bit.
See, what's lame is everybody knows, but nobody can accept it. Everybody knows that, like, street jiu-jitsu and it'll still kind of work, but, like, you know
You
what?
got really impassioned right there.
No,
You got kinda
because it
angry.
bums me out. It bums me out that everybody's like, "Oh man, like you would never be able to defend yourself. All you know is like a berimbolo." Like, listen, these people still, the worst person in your academy is still probably better than most people on the street.
Right. I mean, I've had people, like, get frustrated. Like, I like to butt scoot a lot. And I've had people, like, be like, "That wouldn't work in the street."
I just kick you in the head.
And it's like, I am not going to butt scoot in the street. We are wearing pajamas in a padded room. This is not the street.
It's not that serious.
Yeah, like we're way beyond having to defend headlocks, and like I think self-defense is important, but going over like lapel breaks 500 times is not going to make me better in the street. Like, I think the live training you get
I think
on
we
the
can
mat,
put small gloves on.
yeah, a little strike a little bit, yeah.
I mean, realistically, if you wanna know what it's like, fucking get punched in the face.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It
It's
sucks.
terrible. I mean, it's been a couple years, but when I was a blue belt, early purple belt, I did a lot of MMA work with guys. I was just helping like local guys get ready for fights. And they were like, "Let's put gloves on." I'd always be like, because it was
Wrist
a bummer.
control is amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, so my whole game is really based around underhooks and overhooks, just because I want the same thing I do in gi to translate to no gi. So, like, my game ended up translating really well. I don't do a whole lot of, like, really distant stuff. But you figure out real quick the spots where you need to worry a little bit more. But again, you're doing jiu-jitsu against guys that know jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
right? Even the MMA game evolves to a point where you wouldn't defend yourself the way an MMA fighter competes.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't go down that way, right? So it's hard. The self-defense conversation is so important. Self-defense is important, but people get so mired in it.
Well, it simply needs to be this. Training is going to always give you a better chance than you had without training. Whether you were training sport jiu-jitsu, self-defense jiu-jitsu, none of them are going to say 100%, if you know this, you're never going to get hurt. Somebody's never going to be able to take advantage of you. We need to accept, like, as a community, like, we just need to realize we're better off training and practicing in these situations.
Being in shape, being aware, being used to it. And I've had a couple, I don't want to say their names, I had a couple black belts just straight up say that they don't care about the self-defense stuff. Because it's just not fun. Like, I know black belts that have never been in an actual fight.
Yeah.
Because they're not dumb enough to get into a fight. Like,
Right.
a lot of times you get into fights because you're doing something stupid. Right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's
Absolutely.
situations where you're attacked. Jesus. Yeah, there's situations like you're attacked and it's not your fault and you need to know how to defend yourself. But the vast majority of fights can be avoided if you're just, like, willing to
Just calm the hell down.
de-escalate or not park in a weird place. You know? I mean, just, like, just have some common sense. So I've talked to a lot of black belts that are like, I don't care. Jiu-jitsu is just fun, and that's what I want jiu-jitsu to be. That's what they've communicated to me, and like sometimes I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I started
It's
jiu-jitsu
easy to avoid those situations.
in general, yeah.
Well, the other side is like the seminar type deal. Like, oh, come in for this one seminar and you'll be set with self-defense. Like, no, it takes a lifetime of training to be able to dismantle another human being.
Yeah, not like.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying bugs
yeah,
me.
well, let's sit in this scenario. It's like, oh, if somebody punches you, Like, that's a great feeling to, like, be like, okay, this is what happens if somebody punches you. But then put yourself in this scenario with somebody at the bar that's wasted. They have 10 friends behind them that is actually punching you. And that's way different than, oh, yeah, like, I remember at this seminar that I got punched and I did this.
I feel like that's not as common in jiu-jitsu as, like, traditional martial arts seminars.
Right, but I'm saying, why are we attacking ourselves as opposed to everybody else?
We should be criticizing. Yeah, let's fix the rest of the martial arts world before we... Yeah. No, the seminar thing is weird. When I was in college, I'd always get requests, you want to do a self-defense seminar for, like, this sorority? It's like... I mean, we'll take the money, but it's not gonna at all help them. So, literally, this is a true story. One of the questions we did like just a stand up out of guard for one of the because they want to know how to get up if somebody's pinning you down. And one of the girls looked up at me, dead serious. She says, "Well, what if I'm drunk?" I was like, "There's no technique for this. Like, what?"
That's your own decision that got you there.
Yeah, the seminar thing is weird, and that's kind of a strange rabbit hole to go down. But yeah, self-defense in general, it's a weird vortex of like, well, what if?
Well, the biggest thing is to realize you're not safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not safe unless you've
You're not
practiced
safe.
those deep scenarios over and over and
Even
over again.
then,
and then you're
anything
not,
can
then
happen.
you're not comfortable.
The human body is
Somebody
so
pulls a gun, a
absurdly
knife,
fragile. Yeah, exactly. The human body is absurdly fragile. You know, people like die because their head hits the back of the curb. Like, that's it.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Your brake fall sucked. That's what it was. You know them damn brake falls. We gotta start
Once I
practicing
hit you with a jab, sorry you passed out and you were so drunk that it made you hit
So
your
stop
head.
that debate already.
Yeah.
The heck with it.
Enjoy training.
Right.
Enjoy training. But I agree, a little bit of glove work is good. Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap up the episode there. This was our weirdest episode yet, I
this
think.
one got a little messed up.
This got all over the place. Cat was messing with the lights. It was interesting.
Damn cat.
Damn cat. So, if you're following the Artechoke Not show, feel free to email us your questions at artichokemedia@gmail.com. We'd love to do a Dr. Phil-esque kind of thing. Serious, not serious, about jiu-jitsu or not about jiu-jitsu. We will welcome them all. We're always looking for sponsors. So sponsors for the show go to Nick, because Nick does all the production. So Nick's looking to compete more, travel more. So please support the show and Nick. It's a cool little platform. Reach out to that same Gmail address that we offer for the questions, artichokemedia@gmail, to pick up some sponsor information. You can also tweet me at Marshal D Carper on Twitter. And I think that wraps up the show. Any final send-off you guys want to say? I feel like Mike's got something. I'm afraid to look at him.
Yeah, don't talk to Mike. But
You got nothing for this one? Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, man, Marshal D. Carper.
Oh, the email Marshal D. Carper. Oh, man. Thanks for watching. We'll try to make this a real show someday. Okay. See you, everybody.